Here.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Here.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish. I don't show that she's logged in yet. Mr. Sidoti,
Here.
Mr. Turner,
Here.
and Ms. Wallach.
Here.
I have not heard from Ms. Schaefer-Rich. So she had opening remarks. So we all stand if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm gonna get over this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation
One
under
nation,
God, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have no opening remarks. I need a motion for the minutes of the October 21st meeting and public hearing of November the 4th.
So
moved.
Mike moved it. Who seconded it?
Robin.
I'll go with the second.
Robin seconded. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
One abstention.
Got it.
All right, communications. Public communications. Anything?
No, no one has signed in.
All right, I need to read something under public communications. On behalf of our clerk, I'm going to advertise the city here. The city of Kent is accepting applications for the following boards and commissions: Planning Commission, Park and Rec, Sustainability Commission, Board of Zoning Appeals, Design and Preservation, Stormwater District Review and Appeals. The online application is available at the city website or by calling the clerk of council. The deadline to apply for these positions is November 23rd, 2020 at 4:30. Okay. Any written communications, Amy?
We have the Standing Rock meeting minutes from October 8th were received on October 12th, 2020. The Board of Health minutes and statistical report from October 13th and the agenda for November 10th was received on November 9th, 2020. The communication received after agenda was published on November 10th, notification from the Board of Zoning Appeals that their November 16th meeting was canceled. The Planning Commission agenda and staff report for November 17th was received on November 10th, 2020. A letter from resident Laura Mazur regarding the yard waste drop-off site hours received on November 12th, 2020 and forwarded to council on that date. The Civil Service Commission meeting agenda for November 16th was received on November 13th. And the Parks and Recreation Board packet with the minutes from October 15th and the agenda for November 19th was received on November 13th.
Okay, thank you. City manager report, Jack.
Yeah, so I'd like to move items 1 through 12 on the city manager's report.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Gwen. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Mr. Roller, do you have other comment? I understand you want to talk with Joan.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Heading into the holidays, I think most of you received the message from Joan, the phone message that she sent community-wide. It was really well done. And but her job never stops. We talked today, and perhaps give her 90 seconds to remind everybody the importance of being safe into the holidays. And before I officially turn it over, though, I heard through the grapevine that somebody's city engineer turns a big 5-0 today. So I think he's on the line. Jim Bowling, I just want to say welcome to the club, man.
Oh.
Sucks.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Happy birthday, Jim.
Thank you.
That it? You're only 50?
That's it.
Yeah, he's just a young guy, right, John?
Yeah, I remember that 26 years ago.
He's a baby.
Go ahead, Dave.
Joan.
Oh, okay. Can everyone hear me all right?
Right.
Okay. So, I know that we all feel the anticipation and excitement of the holiday festivities, and we want to share all that joy and energy with the people that we hold most dear in our lives. But this year, to show the most respect and love, we really need to have smaller gatherings. We need to only celebrate with those people that are in our house. I don't know if you've been up to date with the coronavirus website that the state of Ohio has, but our cases per capita has risen to 284 per 100,000. We know that that rate should be 50 per 100,000 or less. And then across the state of Ohio, our positivity rate is 12.8%. Anything over 5% is exponential growth. So right now, our graph is like a vertical climb. It's very, very concerning about the numbers of new cases that are out there. So I guess what I want to look at is the difference between starlings and bears. And maybe you've seen the flocks, the mesmerizing, I guess they're called murmurations of starlings as they gather to migrate, right? They want everybody, all of their kind, to gather together as they get ready to migrate to other locations. We don't want to be like starlings this year. We don't want to gather everybody together. We want to be more like a bear. We want to get our provisions. We want to hunker down in our dens, and we want to stay safe with just those small group of individuals. The reward for doing that, for changing our behavior, is that more of us will stay well and stay healthy, and will keep people out of the hospital. So there is good news. Vaccines are on the horizon. Moderna and Pfizer both have a 95% efficacy rate. Dr. Fauci from the CDC said he'd be pleased with anything over 70%. So 95% is awesome. But until those vaccines are in our hands and literally injected into us, we need to continue on with the public health interventions that can keep us safe. So thank you for this time, and please enjoy a safe holiday season.
Karen, I got a question.
Sure.
How long is the vaccine going to be good for? I
You know
heard 5 years on TV today.
I have heard some say it might be 1 year, it might be 3 years. I have not heard anything definitively yet. That's a good question and something I'm eager to learn myself.
All right, just wondered.
Yeah, a good question. Thank you.
Okay, is there further, Mr. Roller? All right, moving into standing committees, committee of the whole. I need a motion for to approve the minutes of the November 4th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Gwen. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
One abstention. All right, we're going to vote on the boards and commissions. I'm going to make a suggestion that we make the motion as the slate was presented to us on November 4th, because there's really nobody contesting anybody, and every person will get their seat regardless. So if that's meaningful to all you, somebody make a motion to present.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor. I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
For the ARB position, since our applicant already is sitting on another board or commission, should we stipulate that somewhere in that language that they may only serve on one and will have to resign from one, or is that kind of already understood with our resolution from before?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Hope, but I think we advertised it as it was before.
You know what, Mayor, we did. And Amy has been good enough. I think that she will send out an email and let the person know
Yes.
if you're on this board, then you have to resign from another board.
Yeah.
Amy?
Yes, that was already done, and he had already discussed it with the community development department. So he's aware that he's going to only be allowed to be on one board.
Does that answer your question, Gwen?
Yes, it does. Thank you. I wasn't sure if we had to say it somehow when we pass this, but that's fine. Thank you very much.
All right.
I'll move the slate.
And I'll-
Second by Roger. Is there any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. I guess we can move into, do we have to also make a motion to authorize that, Amy?
Yes, we do.
Need a motion to authorize the slate of officers.
So moved.
All right. Mike seconded it. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, Would the clerk read draft number 2020-104 in title only with the correct name?
Draft number 2020-104, a resolution appointing Howard Boyle II to the Architecture Review Board and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension. Second.
Second by Roger. Please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
and Ms. Wallach.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2020-104 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-105 in title only?
Draft number 2020-105, a resolution appointing Christine Klein to the Civil Service Commission and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
and Mr. Amrine.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any question on adopting this ordinance? Please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
and Mr. Amrine.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2020-105 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-106 in title only?
Draft number 2020-106, a resolution appointing Michael Harrison and Janet Dauber to the Fair Housing Board and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Suspension.
Okay, second by John. Please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
and Mr. De Leon.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Okay, please call the roll on adoption.
Mr.
There's
Ferrara,
no, wait a minute, there's no comment.
Oh.
All right, read the roll. I'm sorry, that was.
that's okay. Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
and Mr. De Leon.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2020-106 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-107 in title only?
Draft number 2020-107, a resolution appointing Denise Moat to the Income Tax Review Board and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension. Second.
Second, please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
and Mr. Ferrara.
Yes. Move adoption.
Second.
Second by John Kuhar. Please, is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
and Mr. Ferrara.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2020-107 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-108 in title only?
Draft number 2020-108, a resolution appointing Eric Decker, Tara Murphy, and Mike McClure to the Loan Review Board and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Please call the roll for suspension.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
yes,
Mr. Amrine,
yes,
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
and Mr. Kuhar.
Yes. Move adoption.
Adoption.
Second.
Mike seconded. Please call the roll for adoption. If there's no question, any comment, please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
yes,
Mr. Amrine,
yes,
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
and Mr. Kuhar.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2020-108 has passed.
Thank you. Would the clerk please read draft number 2020-109 in title only?
Draft number 2020-109, an ordinance authorizing a collective bargaining agreement between the City of Kent and the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, OPBA, for the period of November 1st, 2020 through October 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension. Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll for suspension.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
yes,
Mr. Amrine,
yes,
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Motion.
second,
Second by Tracy. Is there any discussion on adopting this? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
yes,
Mr. Amrine,
yes,
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
and Ms. Rosenberg.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-109 has passed.
Okay, thank you. That's it for committee of the whole. There's nothing under community development, no action or no committee reports. Sidewalks and committees, Mr. Sidoti.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move the committee meeting minutes of November 4th and the action
please
recommended.
separate those.
Okay, I'll separate them. I'll move the meeting minutes first.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. That passes.
Abstain.
One abstention.
I'd like to move the action that was recommended.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the action? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay, that passes. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-110 in title only?
Draft number 2020-110, an ordinance authorizing the city manager or his designee to amend the City of Kent's recycling service contract with Portage County Solid Waste Management District, specifically the residential multifamily facilities, and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes,
Mr. Amrine,
yes,
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
and Ms. Schaefer-Bish.
Yes, and move adoption.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
yes,
Mr. Amrine,
yes,
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-110 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Under land use, there's no action needed tonight. Under health and safety committee, there's no action needed tonight. We're down to finance committee, Mr. DeLeon.
Yes, I'll move the committee meeting minutes approval from November 4th, 2020.
Second.
Second by Mr. Kuhar. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
One abstention.
Now
Okay,
I'd like
Mike.
to move the four actions.
Second.
Second by Roger. Is there any discussion on the actions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-111 in title only?
Draft number 2020-111, an ordinance authorizing the certification of delinquent unpaid civil offense fines, rental licensing program to the county auditor in order to allow for the placement of the certified amount on the real property tax list and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Please call the roll for suspension.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
and Mr. Sidoti.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
and Mr. Sidoti.
Yes.
Ordinance 2020-111 is passed.
Hey, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-112 in title only?
Draft number 2020-112, a resolution requesting the county auditor to advance any property taxes that have been collected prior to the normal February settlement date from the proceeds of the 2020 tax year collection pursuant to section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Gwen. Please call the roll on suspension.
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
and Mr. Turner.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
and Mr. Turner.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2020-112 has passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-113 in title only?
Draft number 2020-113, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2019-139, the current appropriation ordinance passed December 18th, 2019, so as to adjust appropriations, transfers, and advances from the various funds of the City of Kent to individual accounts for the current expenses of the city for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2020, and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Move suspension.
Roger, I think, made the motion. John, you gonna second it?
Second it.
All right. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer-Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
Yes.
and Ms. Wallach.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Oh, second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
I mean, yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
and Ms. Wallach.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-113 is passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-114 in title only?
Draft number 2020-114, and an ordinance accepting a donation in the amount of $20 to the City of Kent Fire Department from Jerry and Joan Scully and Jerry F. Scully and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second.
Second by Gwen. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Garrett. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. De Leon,
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
and Mr. Amrine.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-114 is passed.
Okay, thank you. Would the clerk read draft number 2020-115 in title only?
Draft number 2020-115, an ordinance accepting a donation in the amount of $1,200 to the City of Kent Parks and Recreation Department from Mike Pechek in memory of Levon Dunaway and declaring an emergency.
Move suspension.
Second.
Second by Mike. Please call the roll on suspension.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
and Mr. De Leon.
Yes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Second by Mike. Is there any discussion on adopting this ordinance? Seeing none, please call the roll for adoption.
Mr. Ferrara,
Yes.
Mr. Kuhar,
Yes.
Ms. Rosenberg,
Yes.
Ms. Schaefer Bish,
Yes.
Mr. Sidoti,
Yes.
Mr. Turner,
yes,
Ms. Wallach,
Yes.
Mr. Amrine,
Yes.
and Mr. De Leon.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2020-115 has passed.
Okay, that's all there is for Finance Committee and any other committees. Moving down, is there any unfinished business? Mr. Turner, your light's on.
no,
All right.
no,
Any new business? Mr. Sidoti has to be. Roger?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I caught wind that Kent State University has been working with Main Street Kent to develop a new employee appreciation program that will be used to support our downtown Kent businesses. And I think that a similar city-based effort on behalf of our employees to provide them a token of our appreciation for their efforts during these trying times, because I think that, you know, I see them out there working, and I realize there are a lot of people in our community who are struggling, but a lot of those people are the ones who are working downtown in some of our businesses. And I'd like to suggest that we try to translate that program Kent State is doing and into something that supports our downtown businesses through rewarding our employees. So in light of that, I'd like to move that City Council extend to our 234 employees a gift certificate of appreciation in the amount of $25 from our budgeted but unexpended council funds to be used in any downtown businesses participating in the blue and gold grateful effort that Kent State and Main Street is doing.
Second.
Second by who? Right, Garrett?
No matter.
All right. Is there any discussion to this?
Well, I guess I made the motion. I just think that it's a small token of appreciation. It's certainly, I think we've all tightened our belt. I know that council hasn't, we continue to budget money for our council use, but we don't necessarily use it. And when you add it all up, it's a little less than $6,000 that we can, our employees could go out and spend it at any of the participating restaurants downtown or any of the other businesses downtown. And so we're doing two things. One, we're thanking our employees with a small token of our appreciation. And secondly, we're actually helping support our businesses because it's going to get tougher. We all know that. And I think this is just a simple gesture.
Garrett, you second it? You have a comment?
No, I think it's a great idea, Roger, and it's just a nice way to have further a partnership and where one hand washes the other. The employees do so much to make downtown presentable, to keep things up and running, and it's often unnoticed, right? But they all work extremely hard, and they're all diligent at what they do, and I think it's a great opportunity to thank them, but also show the businesses that we're trying to help them out in any way we can also.
Okay, is there any other comment? Mr. Kuhar?
Yeah, just one question. I think it's a great idea too. Do we have the funds to cover that?
Well,
Dave? I think we're talking under $6,000 if I figured it out right. Dave?
Yeah, I asked Rhonda that question when it was posed to me, and she said yes. So we've got the budget covered.
Yeah.
Is there any further question? Can I ask a legal question before you guys vote on this? And I probably shouldn't make comment. Mr. Sidoti, are you excluding council members? Because I don't think it's appropriate if we're voting something for ourselves.
Yeah, that motion is for all employees except ourselves.
All right. I just think that is the seconder. You agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Is it understood then?
Yes.
All right.
Well, we're not employees anyway.
Yes.
What'd you say?
We're not employees anyway.
Do you get a city check?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm
you're not an
employed.
employee of the city.
Well, we're still not employees, but yeah, okay.
You get a W-2 form at the end of the year.
We're still not employees, but okay.
Well, all right.
Apples and
And
oranges.
the 234 number, I'm not sure I included the city council. Let's put it that way.
All right. Is there any other discussion?
I have a quick comment, if I could.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'll be abstaining from this vote simply because I have a business in downtown Kent.
Awesome.
But just having spoken to other business owner and being one myself, I can tell you that when you decide to open a business, you put a lot of thought and consideration into where you're going to open your business, and whether you make the heartbreaking decision to close a business. A lot of it sometimes depends on a gut feeling as to whether there's support and whether people have your back and there's reason to kind of keep up the good fight, as I say. So I think that this will go a long way to let our small business owners know. Although $25 won't save anybody from the brink, it'll certainly give them pause to think that this is an excellent place to do business in the city of Kent, and that people here truly care and are aware of how difficult this time is and will be, in the short term until we have a vaccine. So I appreciate that council is doing this, and like I said, I'll be abstaining, but I just wanted to share my thoughts on that. Thank you.
Is there any more comment?
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, Tracy.
I know it's in the middle of a motion, but can we up it to 50? We have enough to up it to 50?
I thought we're doing pretty good by just stopping Kent State. They're only giving 20 and we're giving 25. That would have to be something Mr. Ruler would have to work out with Ron, I think.
Okay.
You want amended, go ahead.
I don't know if it's possible yet, though. We don't know if the budget will allow it.
No.
Okay. Mr. Roller.
Yeah, do you want me to try that? We did look at that too. And so we do have the budget for it if you're committed to doing that. I guess for us, one of the things that we didn't recommend, they go that direction, and same with Kent State, was the way the gift certificate is set up, it's can only be used pretty much in one spot. Once you use it, even if you use it for $5, you're not going to get like credit back for 15. So it seemed more appropriate to be in that range of 20 to 25, which, you know, you could use in one spot and pretty much use it all rather than you can't split it up. So I don't think anyone will complain for more though, Tracy, either. So we certainly appreciate the idea.
Well, you could give them two $25 gift certificates.
Can I make a comment though? We also have to be careful because if it gets too high, it's got to be included in their taxable income.
Okay.
Here we go.
And taxes.
And that's why I said it was a certificate of appreciation.
All right. I take it that's a moot point now, Tracy?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, if $50 is going to be included in the tax and $25 is not.
I guess that's a question for Rhonda.
Correct. It's considered de minimis, and technically any amount, if it's determinable, should be included within the taxable income. But because of the amount at the $25, we were not going to do that.
Okay.
All right. Is there any more question? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? And one abstention from Gwen, I take it.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Hey, you know, that's good. You seen the letter from Melanie. You know what our people are doing. And I think it's a good thing you guys are patting our employees on the back at the same time you're helping your downtown. So I want to thank you for that. Tracy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I don't know if we can do anything about this or not, but there's a small business at the end of Lock Street. It's a little machine shop, and the electricity has been out along Lock Street for a couple of days, and they're really hurting now because they're having trouble getting their orders filled and everything. Is there anything that the city can do to talk to First Energy about it or anything? I know we don't have much luck.
Melanie, you got your hand up, but you're muted.
I actually just got online and checked the outages in that area, and it does appear that there are 4 on that street, and they are saying that the power is to be back on by 4 tomorrow afternoon, but I will call tomorrow morning first thing just to verify that it's still on track and if there's anything that can be done to expedite it.
Okay, thank you. Can you email that business guy then and let him know that that's what you're doing, please, Melanie?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Is there any other new business? Tracy, you got your hand up again.
Yeah. Let me just confirm this, that Governor DeWine, he has imposed a curfew now starting today that we have tomorrow. Okay. And he's also said that in businesses, if people don't go into businesses wearing masks, then he will fine the businesses for not enforcing that. Is that correct?
No.
I didn't quite understand it that way.
Well, but anyway, he has not given any consequences for not wearing a mask. Is that correct?
I think that's pretty much correct.
Well, the reason we're in the situation we're in with the COVID going out of control here is because people are not wearing masks and people are not social distancing. I think it's time that we back up our mask mandate with the penalties. I mean, even North Dakota is putting penalties, fines on people who do not wear masks and do not wear masks correctly and do not wear the correct mask. So I would like to make a motion that can we please put some penalties onto our mask mandate.
Can I ask you, Tracy, who would govern that? Police department or our health board?
I guess we would discuss that.
Is there a second to that motion? Okay, no second. I think it dies. Is there any other new business? All right, councilman comments, councilperson's comments. I am gonna let you go because you were supposed to open the meeting and I had to do it for you. So go ahead.
Well, thank you. I was just going to say that I hope that I apologize for being late. We had a computer malfunction and had to fire up a whole new computer. And I'm glad that you opened the meeting for me. Well, I wanted to say that, I know that families are facing some difficult decisions at this time, and we ourselves have faced a difficult decision to not have our usual Thanksgiving dinner with people coming from out of state. And it's a sacrifice, One of the sacrifices involved letting go of a farm fresh turkey that I ordered. So I want to say that it's too late to free the turkey. It is at the butcher's right now. So if somebody else wants to get these wonderful farm fresh turkey from a local farmer, just let me know and I'll give you the name of the phone number for the farm. I really truly hope that each family makes the right decision for them and to have a healthy and safe Thanksgiving.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Kuhar.
Yeah, a couple things. First of all, you know, we're going to have as big as turkey we can buy in the store and cook it just like we always do. It'll be a little funny though, because there'll only be a couple people eating it instead of a whole table full. But, you know, we're still going to carry out our Thanksgiving tradition and be thankful for all the things that we had prior to March and all the things that we've had since March. And we've had family members that have had COVID, and fortunately they didn't have real bad cases. But we still have so much to be grateful for in this country. And I don't want to slight that by getting a little 2-pound turkey. So we'll get a 20-pound turkey and we'll be thankful. And we hope that everyone on this console and everyone that's listening to this transmission is a blessed and safe holiday. And the second thing I want to say is that I want to congratulate all the candidates that won their seats in the past election and for the hard work that they did. And what a time to be a candidate, I tell you. They couldn't have picked a better time to get into the stir of things. And let's just put our strength behind them, that they all will do the jobs that they put their names up for.
Let's just hope they all get along with each other.
That too.
Yeah. Anybody else have any comment? Well, moving down to the mayor's report, I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving and enjoy it as you can. John, I don't think you said it any better. The other thing was that email that Melanie sent out, how our central maintenance people are hustling, bustling with leaves, putting up Christmas lights and whatever they do. You know, we take all this stuff for granted. And when somebody calls, we think we should call somebody else and say, hey, drop it and go here and do it. That isn't the case. You got a handful of employees that are doing everything now. So let's remember central maintenance, whatever you do too, not as well as the rest of the departments in the city. I have nothing else. I hope everybody has a joyful Thanksgiving. We'll see you in December. With that said, we're adjourned. Oh,
thank you.
All right.